Before you go out, it's important to study the ocean and see where you're going to go out at. That's where we plan to take you. On land, we're in control. But once you get in the water, the ocean's in charge. Sometimes it'll be flat for a long time. Then out of nowhere, there'll be a bunch of waves coming in. Good surfers spend a lot of time checking the waves before they go out.
Don't be like one of those guys who just sits out there and does nothing. Study the ocean before you go out. Watch where it breaks. Get in the right spot. That way you'll be surfing in no time. So you ready to drop some science on these guys?
Let's do this.
It's important to understand some basic physics of waves. Waves are energy moving through the medium of water. When wind blows on water, the water molecules bump into each other and create lines of energy. The lines of energy compress and drag along the rising ocean bottom. When the ocean bottom comes up shallow, the lines of energy compress, slow down, and stall, and the top of the wave continues moving and falls down on itself, creating whitewater, which then rolls to the beach. If it gets really shallow, the top pushes over and forms a tube, which is really fun to put your body into. A general physics formula is that a wave breaks when the depth of the water is half of the wave height. The place where the wave breaks is called the impact zone. So waves are rolling energy that break in shallow water. How a wave breaks is a direct result of the ocean floor. So whenever you look at waves at your surf spot, you are looking at a subterranean map of the ocean bottom.
Before you paddle, you don't have to go out where everybody else is. Watch the waves, find your own spot. That just means more waves for you.
More waves, more fun. Humans are 90% water. Being in the water is actually where you're in your natural element. This is a feeling that all surfers share. Another feeling we all share in the ocean is getting worked by it. You're gonna get drilled, thrashed, pounded, ragdolled, pretty much the whole washing machine cycle, and then some.
Alright, once a wave breaks, it turns into white water. That's a real tough thing to learn how to get through. Don't get frustrated. We're going to show you some tips right now on how to get out past that whitewash.
Practice does make perfect.
We're going to practice entering the water. Paddling out to a place in the water that doesn't have many waves, we're going to sit up on our board and practice turning around in different directions, just like you would if a wave was coming.
Okay, you got to remember to stay perpendicular. When you're going out, all you got to remember is we're going straight through the waves and catching them right back in. So we'll start with that.
It's important to remember to always surf where there's a lifeguard. If that's not possible, use the buddy system. I surf with Andy. That way we watch each other, you know. I make sure he's not getting in trouble, and you know, he makes sure to see all my rad waves. So the buddy system works great. But remember, lifeguard is best. Sometimes surfboards can be used as life-saving devices. All over the world, lifeguards are trained to paddle out to drowning victims, pull them on their boards, and paddle them into safety. Thank goodness for surfboards.
Okay, we're going to get serious here for a little bit. We're going to talk about etiquette and lineup. Let's take a moment for this public service announcement.
This is a public service announcement brought to you by the Hawaiian Coalition for Safer Surfing.
Hello, my name is Tintin Pule. I got 3 things I gotta tell you guys. First of all, you see somebody paddling for a wave, get out of their way. Even if you gotta get pounded by the wave, you know, gotta respect them, get out of the way. Second thing is, whose wave is it? Somebody sit deeper than you, paddling for a wave, he's up already going, get out of their way. The guy in the barrel gets the wave, the guy deepest to the barrel gets the wave. Third and most of all, most important, respect. You gotta respect the ocean. You gotta respect the locals. If you stay in a surf spot, somebody else surf spot, respect the locals. And that's all I get for share with you guys. My name's Tintin Pule. Aloha, be safe.
This public service announcement was brought to you by the HCSS.
Just like any other sport, don't go surfing right after you eat. Give it at least a half hour. You don't want to get a cramp or throw up on your board or anything like that. So after you eat, wait at least a half hour, right?
Yeah, no vomiting. Before going in the water, it's good to stretch. You don't want to go out there and pull a hammy. So personally, I like to do a couple stretches. Everyone's different, but looks like Chris has a pretty good stretch going on right now. Okay, a couple good stretches are just a basic touch your toes. You know, one of those, hold it for about 10 to 20 seconds, stretch out the hamstrings. Another one's doing the butterfly, stretching out the hamstrings, you know, getting everything loosened up for riding waves. And then other than that, just maybe doing some arm stretches, just basic shoulder, left, right, and usually that's enough to get you out there.
Okay, now we're going to show you how to put your leash on your board. It's really simple.
First of all, you want to find the leash plug on the tail.
So most new leashes will come with a string like this.
And it will have a loop ready to go for you. What you're going to do is grab the loop with the knot on one side, put it through the hole, like so, so that it holds in the board. Grab the same end where the string was coming out of, put it through the loop, slap it on, you're good to go. That's going to keep your board tied to your leg, so when you fall or you know, you won't lose it and it won't wash to the beach. And then you're going to grab your bar of wax, and then you're going to take beads on the top. Make sure you're not going to put them on the bottom because that will slow you down. You're going to want to have them on the top where you're going to be standing and paddling so you don't slide all over the board. Usually it's, I like to make squares. Squares are cool. You know, like that. I can make tic-tac-toes, whatever you want. Side to side to side. It makes it go on easier. And then you just give it a circular motion. And you'll do this all up and down your board. Okay, when you get down to the shoreline, grab your leash, put it on your back ankle. For me, I'm a regular foot, so I'll put it on my right ankle. After you do that, you're going to grab it so you don't have slackage, and carry it down there so you don't trip on it. The ocean's a place to have fun, but you really have to respect it.
Before you go out, it's important to study the ocean and see where you're going to go out at. When showing up at a beach, find a spot that you're comfortable with. You don't have to go where everyone else is. You can find a little spot for yourself that looks fun, and that's where you should go. While on your way out to the lineup, it's good to pick your board up one rail at a time. It'll help you get through the breakers. Make sure when you're paddling out, you go straight out. Never hold your board parallel with oncoming waves because you're going to get worked and probably washed in.
Now we're going to paddle out and find a spot with not many waves. When paddling out, remember the beach techniques we taught you earlier. Keep your arms close to the board, your fingers closed, and using deep strokes. Think of your hands as oars and your surfboard as a boat. Paddling out through the waves can be really frustrating. The best way to push yourself through whitewash is to do a little push-up right before the whitewash hits you. You basically just want to let the water go between you and your board. As soon as the water passes you, you lay back down and paddle hard. If the whitewater is bigger than you can fit between you and your board, sit on your tail and turn the board around. Hold onto the rails. Take it perpendicular to the wave, board pointing up and legs in the water, kind of like an anchor. Now the wave's going to hit you, but don't worry, it's not going to drag you in. Another way is called turning turtle, or turtle diving. It works when a bigger wave's coming at you. You don't want to take it on your head, so do that push-up again, leaning over all the way until you flip the board all the way over and the bottom of the board is on top of the water and the whitewash goes over it. A last resort is bailing your board. It's safe for you, but not for anyone else. Soon enough, you're going to learn something we call duck diving. Now this is a great way to get under waves when you're riding a shortboard. For now, use the waves we've showed you earlier to get past the waves and out into the lineup. When you find a calm spot, sit up on your board. Now we're going to practice turning around. Swirl your feet in circular motions and use your outside arm to help you spin 360 degrees in one direction. Now spin the other way. And this is what's going to help you catch waves.
There's two ways to catch a wave. The first way is to be facing the beach. Let the white water hit you. It'll give you momentum to be able to stand up and ride it toward shore. Now the second way is a little more tricky. You gotta position yourself outside of the wave and paddle yourself in before it breaks. Now this takes practice, so give yourself some time. Eventually you'll be doing this. After you've caught your wave, make sure your weight is centered. Too much weight on your front foot may cause you to nosedive, which we call purling. A lot of beginners after catching a ride will dive off their boards into the shallows. This is a no-no. Don't do this. There's an old saying, never turn your back on the sea. You should know what's going on around you at all times. Experienced surfers can make their boards do what they want them to do. You eventually will be riding waves at an angle. Left, right, front side, and sometimes backside. To surf the wave at an angle, or cut down the line, you put your weight down on your toe or your heel side. This will cause your board to turn. Turning happens by placing weight on one side or the other while the board is moving. More weight on one side or the other side will make the board turn. It is important to look and turn your chest in the direction you want to go. You can also paddle for a wave at an angle. Stand up and already be going down the line. Surfing's a blast. We have a lot of fun to look forward to, but there's some practice to come with it. Now that you have the tools and the basic understanding to get started, let's go surfing.
Everyone has to start somewhere, even three-time world champion Andy Irons. Now you have the basic techniques to safely and confidently learn to surf. So get out there and have fun.